Hi everybody, it's Christopher Nejman. Well, I'm going to do a video on my Juki HZL F300. This video was inspired by a member on the Juki Junkies Facebook page when she said she was having problems starting off going over the thick fabrics on the corner. So what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate that on this. And we're going to find out what it says in our manual too. Alright, stay with me, I'll be right back. Alright, so this is my HZL F series instruction manual for my Juki machine. And when I open and go through the manual, it shows me the black button presser foot. And then it says, when sewing on the edge of the fabrics, blah 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 blah. Okay, so this is in my manual. Now let's look at the DX7 and see what that manual says. Okay, so I was on the Juki Junkies Facebook page and I saw Carrie ask the question, and she said, I have the hardest time when beginning to sew on a thick edge. If I start below it and backstitch it, will not come forward. Even hand manual crank stitching does not do the trick. I've tried using this foot raise option and nothing seems to work. I have a DX7. Does anything else have this issue? Does anyone else have this issue? And what are your workarounds? Okay, so I responded to her, and the only video I had at the time I did on my baby lock. And then she said, thank you, I will look at this video. And then Elizabeth commented, Irene commented, they got some information on the video, another Debbie commented. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look for the manual. So let's start there. So I went to Google because I don't have the DX7, I have the F300, and I entered Juki DX7 manual because I wanted to find that information. So I go to manual, and then I want to see a picture of this machine to see what it looks like. I'm scrolling down the manual. There it is. And it looks very much like my F300. So Juki just probably repackaged their F series and did a few changes and changed the label. You know, some machine companies do that all the time. So let's see if I can find, scroll down, where that showed you that application on this one. I think it just might be. I know I saw it in my manual, and this manual looks very similar to my manual. Page is a little bit different, but they're all basically the same. So here we go. Here it is. Looks like it's on page 38. Let's see here. Yeah, 38. Okay, so on page 38 it says, when sewing the when sewing the edge of thick fabrics. Let me enlarge that now, and then we'll read it together. You ready? Turn the hand wheel and let the needle enter at the position of sewing start. Push the black button A by finger and lower the presser foot. Release the finger from the black button and start sewing. When the presser foot will be on the fabric completely, the black button will be disengaged automatically. Now, I've done several videos on this black button foot, and the letter of the foot for every brand machine is different, but it's basically what it's called is a leveling foot. And not every machine will accept a leveling foot because you have to have the ankle that's got the hole in it, so when you push that black button in right here, it'll go into that hole to level the foot. So in case it doesn't, you'll have to do research to see if you can get a new ankle that comes with a black button foot for your machine. See if it's a high shank, low shank, whatever it is. So that's what that is there. And that is in the instruction manual. And a lot of people were, you know, all different brand people, Janome, Singer, Juki, Baby Lock, Brother, you know, a lot of the people on all the sewing groups are saying, "Oh, I didn't know about that black button. I didn't know about it." And it's in your manuals. And I even spoke about that before. So now let me go over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to demonstrate using this technique over a thicker fabric on my Juki F300 so it can help this member so she can see how I'm doing it on my Juki, because she already saw the video on how I did it on my Baby Lock. So let's go over to my machine. Okay, everybody, so now I'm going to sew over this cotton duck cloth. I'm going to build it up so it gets thick so I can use the leveling foot to show you how to sew over thick fabrics on this Juki HZL F300. Now, you might have heard me in my previous videos when I did a couple of videos on this machine that I inherited this machine. It was used in a factory and it was heavily used. So this still has to have service done to it. It needs some adjustments. But so far, you know, I don't use it as my permanent machine. It's been in my closet, but this is a great machine. And I'm sorry I didn't get it brand new, but once I get this serviced and adjusted, and it'll be just like brand new. But watch what it can do after all this time it was used in a factory. They were sewing elastic on here, making gun holsters and stuff. So yeah. All right, so I got my pressure foot, or I'm sorry, my stitch length is at 4.0, and my pressure dial at the top is at 4.0 also. It's at number 4. Okay, so let's just do this. Now, for the newbies, remember, now there's 2 layers of fabric. You can sew with a 3.0 stitch length, or maybe a 2.5 stitch length. But when you start building and getting thicker and you're going to do top stitching, you have to have a longer stitch length. So I'm just going to leave this at 4. Alright, so this is 2 layers. And in many of my videos I get distracted and forget my count. So you may have noticed in some of my videos I miscounted and I had actually more layers than I said I did when I was folding it. So that was 2, now this is 4. So this is 4 layers now. So for those of you who caught me, must be my dyslexia kicking in. Okay. So this is a size 12 top stitch needle. Alright, so that was 4. Right, now we're going to do 8 layers. Here's where the fun comes in. So now you see how that foot is on like a ski slope, and what we want to do is we actually want to start in about a couple stitches in, or a 1/4 of an inch in. So let's say it's 1/4 of an inch in right there. All right, but it's not level, and you want to level that. So you're going to lower your needle, raise your foot, level this foot out. Level that foot out, okay? See how I'm push that black button in until it clicks in, and then lower the foot. Okay? Now, on this machine, when you press the reverse button, it will sew a couple stitches and go back. Right? Yeah. So all I want to do is, there we go. Okay, so I went back, and I want to pick this back up again and level it to make sure it's clicked in there. There we go. Alright, so I back stitched to the very, not over the edge, or not off the edge, but right to the edge. And you don't have to do very edge either, you know. So now watch what's happening. I'm not even going to put my hands on it. See my hands? I'm just going to guide it. I'm just guiding it. Now watch how nice it's going to go over. You see that? And honestly, if you're making bags, you're really not going to do any more layering than like 8 layers, and this is canvas. Alright, you see? Okay. Let's do that again. And instead of back stitching, I'm just going to start right about a couple stitches in first. Okay, level my foot, bring the needle up a little bit more so you can move the foot. Level the foot. There we go. Sew a couple stitches forward and then a couple back. There we go. See how nice? Now I've already lost track of how many layers I have on here. Do you all remember how many layers I did already? You remember how many layers? Well, whatever the amount of layers were on there, let's add 2 more layers. Okay? Let's add 2 more layers. Sometimes you need to put the needle in, sometimes you don't have to put the needle in. Just touch the needle there, lift the foot, and see, this is where having the knee lifter really helps, guys. So if you're not, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, I always say guys, everybody, if you're not used to a knee lifter, this is where a knee lifter comes in handy. And if your machine, you spent all that money and it comes with a knee lifter, use the knee lifter. Okay, level that foot. So, you hear it? It clicks when it goes over its hump. It'll click, right? Okay, now I can backstitch a couple, and see when I backstitch it, ski slope again. So I'm going to lift that, level it, put it down, sew, and listen to it unclick itself when it's done. See? Nice, right? See how easy that is? My hands aren't even holding this and I'm just sewing it. Now, a lot of you don't have to sew fast. When you're sewing over thick layering, don't sew like speedy. Take your time. Lift. Put the button in. Put it down. Sew. There it is. Okay, now I'm going to turn a corner here. I'm on a ski slope, right? Lift the foot with the knee lifter, level it, push the black button in until it goes into its little hole, put the foot back down, and sew. Now, I want to level that. Down. See how nice? All right, let's look at the amount of layering on it. So, on the side here, you can see how thick that is. You can see over here how thick that is. So, if you're making bags, you're not going to really be doing anything thicker than that. So, if you're going to be doing something thicker than this, then get yourself a Juki industrial machine. But this is a domestic machine. And so the gal who was having issues, I hope this helps you. I showed her how to do this on my baby lock video, but now she inspired me to do this on my Juki. So now I have a Juki video on that leveling foot, sewing over multiple layers. So if you're having issues, chances are maybe you need your machine serviced. The needle's wrong, your stitch length is wrong, you're not leveling this out properly. So I hope this helps you and gives you flawless sewing. Remember, be gentle with your machine, guys, because one of my baby lock machines I use in my classroom for my private sewing semesters, and one of the students I had, she was very rough. I mean, she slams the presser foot down, she wouldn't use her knee lifter, you know, and then she was jamming and pulling it really hard and yanking it. She was damaging everything. Well, what happened was somehow she yanked something with my needle position, and when I would sew after the class and try to go over thicker material, it would like and wouldn't penetrate. So I had to take it in and get it fixed, and thankfully it was able to get fixed, and they made the adjustment, and it sews beautifully again. In fact, that was my baby lock video that I showed Carrie on the Juki group. So be gentle, everybody, and read your instruction manual and take care of your machines, because these are good machines. But everything is breakable, and it depends upon how heavy your hand is on everything. I mean, I've seen people even break an industrial machine, believe it or not. because they were jamming, yanking, doing this and that. And okay, so anyway, yeah. So if you want your frustrations, don't take it out on your machine. Get yourself a punching bag. All right? Take care, everybody. Hope that helps. Bye now.